Hey guys, you're watching That Tattoo Chick. This is a video response to Shazoolo's video on human sacrifice and paganism, as it's quoted in the Wiccan Bible by Janet Farrar. Um, as far as sacrifice goes from a magical perspective, like human and animal sacrifice, um, for me to deny that it would be a very powerful form of magic would be like saying that, to put it in like a Christian terms, would be saying that Satan is not a powerful adversary to mankind. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like, kind of like that kind of thing. So for me to, I can't deny that it is one of the most powerful forms of magic. And it's been practiced, by many cultures throughout history. The Druids, the Celts, the Egyptians, the Aztecs. The Aztecs were actually one of the more bloodthirsty ones. They sacrificed somebody for pretty much anything. And they fell for it. Honestly, I think, karma came around and did that to them because of that. I don't believe it was always meant to be a negative thing, but it is a very negative thing. It is a very negative thing. I don't condone the taking of anyone or anything else's life. In that aspect. Of course, my goddess is Diana, the goddess of the hunt, so, but, it's, and certainly human sacrifice is no longer practiced. I can't speak as far as animal sacrifice, and there are many different traditions in Wicca, and so I can't say that it's not something that might still be practiced by some of the darker, people in witchcraft and that kind of thing. I can say that it's not something I personally agree with. But as far as your comment on what I would say to people who are interested in going down that kind of path, and if I think that it could be, put in the wrong hands, absolutely. And I don't think anybody should really mess with that. I don't think that it's something that should even be considered or explored. My advice to people who are interested in doing some kind of sacrifice would be, I'm a tattooist and body piercer. So, obviously I'm involved with, flesh and blood sacrifices every single day, And a lot of my clientele are pagan because I'm a pagan tattooist. And a lot of pagan, body mod and stuff like that is a very spiritual act. Not always, but, a lot of the time it's for a spiritual purpose. So an alternative to that, what I would recommend is, in doing that, only use what's of yourself. Don't take it from another life. You know what I mean? Like, don't take it from someone else, and don't take it from an animal, because I believe that that's wrong. I believe it should only be, like I said, only be of yourself by your own free will. And that's just my personal opinion. There's a Lakota Sundance, Native American tradition. That my high priest, actually, he goes to the Sundance festivals, each year, and he actually participates in a flesh offering where they pierce with bone through his back, through his shoulder blades, and they hang a buffalo skull from that, and he has to fast and pray and dance with this buffalo skull attached to his back for several days, and he can't pray for himself. He can only pray for the betterment of other people. And then at the end of it, at the end of his period of fasting and prayer, they will pull the skull until the piercings come out, and with that will be a flesh offering. And the reasoning behind that, as I have come to understand it, is that, in the Native American and the Lakota beliefs, the only thing that you truly own is yourself, your flesh and your blood, and your body and your soul. The clothes on your back are not yours. It all belongs to, the great spirit, or I don't know exactly what they call it, but yeah, basically. And so, I mean, there are other ways to go about, if that's something, if that's a route that, you want to take, there are ways to do it without harming someone else. I mean, it goes against the Wiccan Rede to do that kind of thing. And ye harm none, do as ye will. And most people will argue that, includes yourself. Yes, it does. But body modification is a very ancient form of magic. And it's still used in certain cultures as a rite of passage. And just to signify that somebody is a religious leader, or, my archpriest has a tattoo on his forehead of 3 arrows that are in the middle of his forehead that symbolizes that he's reached a certain degree of priesthood in his tradition. So, and I also have a lot of people that come to me that are seeking the blood and flesh sacrifice through tattooing and piercing for a spiritual purpose. So I can't say anything about blood and flesh sacrifice. I do not condone, the taking of another thing's life or another person's life. I don't believe that should even be something that's explored. So for those of you who are interested in that kind of thing, there are alternatives to that. I don't think that should even be something that should cross your mind. I don't see the point in that. But I can't deny that it's a powerful form of magic. I can't do that, because obviously it is. It's right up there with sex magic. It's very powerful. I can't deny that. However, it is one that, as you quoted, Gerald Gardner described as an abomination. So that's pretty much my views on it. I don't condone the sacrifice of life. But as far as, flesh and blood offerings go, I don't have any problem with it, because I personally practice it, and I actually do a lot of my magical workings according, to piercing. Like, I've got my labret pierced, and that's for communication. And I've got, my nose pierced, which is problem solving, my ears pierced to help me listen, to hear better, or it's another pretty much a communication thing, And then I have a dermal by my eye, which is clarity of vision for me, So, I mean, and there's like fertility piercings, like the nipples and the navel and the genitalia and, that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's powerful magic. It really is. But there are other ways to go about it, and I don't condone the taking of life. So, and there will be some people that will argue with me, because certainly not all of us agree with my views, and some are very staunch about and ye harm none, do as ye will, and they consider body modification to be harming yourself. So, I mean, there's a gray area with that, but as long as you're working it in a positive manner, and like I said, you're only using, what is of yourself to give. You can't use someone else's life force for that. I don't agree with that. But, it is very powerful. So, that is my video response to Shazoolo's video about sacrifice in Wicca and stuff. So, or well, not in Wicca, but, in paganism. So, blessed be.